Hi guys, and welcome to the Chad tutorial. This is gonna cover different designs that are made based on this idea of combining micromasters to a main body to become initially Chad. Then I managed to create Mega Chad that uses official micromasters as part of the main body. Then as part of that, I use some micromaster cars to create a Mena Chad, which is supposed to be a Menasor tribute. And then finally, split into parts at the moment is Bruti Chad, which instead uses my own micromasters to create a tribute to Bruticus. All the parts, as usual, are printed in PLA. I don't have the correct colors for Bruticus, so I went for a slightly different coloration for Onslaught kind of thing. If you want to call the main body Onslaught in this case. But I have all the various Combati kids all printed in fairly good colors, let's say, for the rest of the team. They all transform as micromasters, as you may have seen from my previous videos. If this is the first video that you watch, you just have a very usual main body that I use for these transformations, and then, you know, legs fold up. There is a hood for the canopy for the shuttle mode here in this case. We have an helicopter, again, legs fold up and then arms fly around. The backpack is for the tail of the helicopter. Then we have the Jeep, as you can see, is already attached to the leg here. But yeah, you can see the shape of the Jeep here as it's attached. And then we have the tank, also, you know, folding legs, pegging together, trying to, you know, make it solid so that it looks good on the leg. And in this tutorial, I'm gonna go through some of the hard bits about combining this, and then I'm gonna go through some transformations as well, as much as I can, to show you how these transform into track mode for the main body. And then I'm gonna showcase some updates I've done with the latest version of the main body so that everybody will have the same. I don't have them printed with the latest versions, only Bruticus is effectively in the latest version of the files that you will find online. There have been several upgrades to the mold, including better positioning for the joints so they don't fall off, or they shouldn't fall off. There are better positioning for the, better sizing of the elbows so that they don't need to be sanded down to buggery to fit. There have been every single version of Chad has a different helmet, by the way, to fit better the design. So Mena Chad has a more square one, while Bruti Chad will have a more elongated track mode. So yeah, there are some differences here and then between the various modes, but mainly is about the actual upgrades that have been made, especially for the legs of Bruti Chad. I introduced a new way for the micromaster to attach to the leg that is a bit more, let's say, easy to put together. The previous one was a bit of a nightmare to fit things in, and then to be able to use different micromasters for this leg, it's possible. So you can make your own, you know, combiner if you want to. I have plans to make more combiners, especially the fencer would be an easy one to make using pretty much the same mold as Bruticus, while I want to try and make a superior as well, but I will have to change the main body significantly. So all that away, let's start with the main body core, let's call it the chest piece. So the chest part is comprised mainly of a gimmicky transformation for the chest part that will allow it to turn into the track. So obviously the face is easy because it slides back on this slots all the way back, and yeah, there you go. So you have the wheels aligned like that. Then this piece is supposed to fold back down. I'm gonna leave it there for now. I don't want to force it through too hard, but it should fold all the way down, or you can just leave it there if you like it. Now the arms slide. Now as you can see, there is a groove that becomes an L, so you can push it down and turn it all the way around. So one side at a time, you can fold it now up, and it should fold above the body like that. So now you can see these parts have been designed to be printed in 2 separate colors, but they should, let's say, they won't slot together, but they will, you know, sit together nicely. And the core part is the more difficult part, because you need to put something behind it to push forward the blue part against the silver part so that it glues together nicely. Second one, same as the first. I'm gonna push it all the way to the end and then all the way down as I turn it, and then I turn it up. So that's the track turning into, let's say, track mode for the main body, and revealing, you know, the sides. There's wheels that you can attach here. I glue them because I don't care about them rolling or anything, but you know, you can do what you want. And then this is not glued perfectly, it's actually out of place, but this should have been flushed together so that you know, it's fine. It still works. So the legs are supposed to go here and, you know, become the rest of the truck with the rest of the legs. So things to know is to glue that back panel there with the joints in. It's easy to put the joints in first and then to attach to the legs. Similarly for the arms, you can put just the half on the joint in here with a mushroom peg, and then it's easy to put the rest of the arm in place. So let's transform it back into the main body, and as you can see, and now this is another update. There is a groove here with this tab, and that should lock the arm securely enough for any movements to be possible without things falling apart. The problem I had before, especially if you have the arm lifted up and you want to hold a pose, before it would, you know, unbalance things, and this thing will move backwards. So at least that holds it, and, you know, things don't start moving when you do not want them to. So transformation again, slide, put in place. This moves down, reveal the face, and we're back here. Now the legs, the foot is just packed in with 5mm ports, so you can remove it fairly easily. And then in vehicle mode, they would just peg on top of the truck for storage, let's say. And the leg itself just turns at the knee, or it can also turn at the thigh. So for transformation, you will want this to be, let's say, the side of the of your track instead of showing something nasty. And when you're turning back, you want to make sure that this is the front and this bit is at the front with the lip. So you got everything situated correctly. No, this is the front, sorry. And this is the front. So this is the side. Okay? So that's one leg. The other leg is the same. And then before we put the main body on it, I'm gonna show you the arm. Now the arm has peg holes and another 5mm port for the micromasters to go in it. The elbow will go with some filament. There's filament in the knees as well, by the way, while the hand is on a mushroom peg, so it just needs to go in, and then there's some filament for the actual fingers to open and close a little bit. Although mine, yeah, I don't want to risk breaking it right now. Oh. And for some reason I managed to sand it down a bit too much, but when you print it, it should lock securely. All the other figures have it locked very securely, so it's just this one there's a bit of a pain. So the only other thing to mention is the back part of the bicep, I think. The back part of the upper arm is separate, so you need to glue it together with the other half of the joint for the arm. So I'm gonna put our helicopter guy, or kid, or whatever you want to call it, on the arm. And that's up and situated. And then the upper arm will get the rest of the helicopter. And then, yeah, that's gonna flap around, but, you know, it's not going anywhere. So let's start building the main body. So before I go on, I actually want to add the micromaster to the main body. So you want to take the legs of the Silverjet guy with the Decepticon logo on it, and that fits in that port here. So now you have Verticus with a nice Decepticon logo on it. I'll probably want to paint it with some purple to match the color scheme and, you know, make it pop out a bit more, but I haven't had time to do yet. And this other jet part instead becomes, you know, the rest of the chest piece, so it kinda gives a tribute to that, you know, chest piece that Bruticus normally has. And then finally we can start adding it to the legs on one side and the other, and we got it standing. And then I didn't mention yet, we got guns for Brutichild. They're pretty much the same guns as I've done for the other guys, but in silver. But this time we're gonna put them on the pegholes that I added to this figure. Now I didn't need to replicate the pegholes on the other designs, they don't really need it, but for that it could add storage for the figures, or the hand wants to shift forward, obviously. Otherwise it's gonna look like it's been gobsmacked by Starscream or something. So that's, you know, starting to look like Bruticus. And I said I added the pegholes on the designs for the other figures as well, in case you want storage for the guns, you don't want to display them with weapons, maybe you're a pacifist, you know, any reason. I think options are always good. Now to add the arms, maybe I should have done that first. You want to have the joint straight up like that and straight up there, and then you can add it in there. So yeah, I'm gonna Probably need to move that away. And probably better to do it without the micromaster attached either. You can attach it in a second. So we got more clearance, and it just pegs in. Nice click. Folding down, opens up, and there you go. Now we got the other side to do. Bum, bum, bum. Try not to break anything. And voila. We got Proticus completed. And I think I really like the designs. All the micromasters were new for a reason or another. There's a variant on the GATTAI. I actually have a V2 version of the Jeep mode for the micromaster bundle because I didn't like how this hood transformed when it was a standalone micromaster. But as part of Proticus, it's fine. Because most of the time people will probably display it this way. And this is brand new transformation with the legs and everything folding in a slightly different way. You had to twist it around, while the helicopter I had created before for a challenge on a Discord server. The chest piece is a jet boy, jet kid, whatever you want to call it, but modified to have the Decepticon logo because yeah, it's not really gonna fly anywhere. And then the shuttle is just a chubbier version of the jet guy, but yeah, still counts as a different remold of the design. So this is for combining Bruty Chad, or the plain Chad will be similar or pretty much the same idea, but I have here the older version, so I'm not going to show you. But you still have, you know, the chest piece getting attached the same way. You still got the guns, you still got micromasters on the arms and the legs in a very similar way, so everything is pretty much the same. Mega Chad and Mega Chad, though, we're using original micromasters from Hasbro. So things are slightly different. For example, the chest piece is upside down, so that effectively these pegs while facing downwards instead of upwards. The arms have a connector at the top there that spins as well, and the legs don't peg on the leg, but they peg on the foot. So effectively you need specific micromasters to build this, but yeah, it works. I'm not gonna take it apart now but you can see the peg there underneath the figure. So you'll need micromasters figure to have a hole on the back like these guys, and then you'll need micromasters that have the peg under the hood, let's say, like these guys. But there are several examples. These are not the only ones. These are just the ones I had. And then for good measure, I gave him the jet sword, or whatever you want to call it, Star Saber. Yeah. For Mega Chad, it's slightly different on the legs. I wanted to recreate the look of cars on the back, so they actually use the peg hole on the chest this time. So I can show you that this peg will go into the chest of the micromaster. That is that hole where the screw is, instead of using the peg that comes with the car. And that is because it allows me to put the figure upside down to make it look like, you know, an actual calf rather than just something dangling there. And yeah, so this is it really. We have four flavors of Chad, let's say, that I managed to design so far. There will be more coming, more likely. There are so many ideas that come to mind when it comes to combiners, and so many combiners to do. Like, I don't know, Dino King, it could be a Dino Chad, that could be, I don't know, anything, really, anything. I would like to do a version of, what's his name? Oh, I'm missing the name now. Anyway, so many ideas. So if you like this, guys, or probably if you're watching this video because you already purchased them, you know, thank you very much. If you found this video on YouTube and you want to buy them, go on Cults. There will be links in the description. If instead you haven't purchased them yet, but you're finding the video on Cults, then, you know, you're welcome to purchase them. And yeah, and reach out to me. Follow me on Cults. Follow me on my Facebook page. You will find Crop Studio. We have now a private group where I sometimes share free designs as well. We just got one that I shared for a new micromaster I made. That is a remake of what's it called, Swindler. So it kind of turns into a DeLorean. Now there is actually, this guy here is supposed to be the same thing, but this guy doesn't have the chest piece transforming like the original toy. So I think I've done a better job than Hasbro on that one, but I'll leave it to you to decide what you think. So there you go. As a byproduct of this project, I have this ghost of Tank Boy as well. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much, guys. I really hate my camera setup. I hope to get a better one in future. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys later.